present serves as a global market president for Business Network International. Mac has started and scaled up several companies over the years. He was named as the startup and scale-up guru by the National Achievers Congress. Mac's BNI leadership journey began as an executive director of BNI Bangalore, and then step by step he was invited to lead the BNI India operations and Asia Pacific membership. After that, it has grown to almost 162% and led him to be promoted as a global markets president in August 2008. BNI membership has grown almost 22% under his leadership and guidance. Mac's expertise is actually in building teams and inspiring them to succeed. He currently lives in Singapore, loves to travel across the world. He watches movies, reads books, enjoys spending time with his kids. He's a fire walker. He's a bungee jumper and skydiver. Mac's energy is unlimited. His passion is to help others find the strength in themselves to achieve goals that they would normally think is impossible. His vision is to help over 1 million entrepreneurs grow and transform their business by December 2008. Your better applause for the one and only Mac
Meena is BNI's Chief Digital Officer. Previously, she founded Sion Social, an award-winning digital marketing agency with a global footprint in 2011. In June 2020, they joined the BNI family of companies. She's one of the most sought-after specialists in the field of digital marketing and has been the recipient of several prestigious industry awards. Top 50 social media professionals, Women's Superachiever, Top 10 Most Creative Streetrunners, Top 10 Iron Minders, Excellence in Giving. These are some of the awards that she's got. And you there, with a bachelor's in Information Technology, Integrated Marketing and Communications program from London School of Business and Finance. She currently lives in Singapore with her husband Mac Srinivasan, and they have 2 daughters. She enjoys music, reading inspirational books, and loves traveling with her family and exploring new cultures. Put your hands together for Mac MEENA. She's coffee with MC.
Coffee with Kanmani.
Okay, would you like to say anything in 30 seconds before we begin?
I'm the speaker, she's the loudspeaker.
Always.
So let us start.
Vanakkam Chennai! எங்களுக்கு இது ரொம்ப special moment. We are really grateful for Murli and Viju for building such a beautiful region with so many beautiful chapters. Surin and me, we are just in the backstage, but they are the front runners. And a big clap to you all.
Absolutely, yes.
Take your hands, put it on your back and back to your back. Yes. So let me ask the question to Mac first. Mac, from ED to India head, and then to Southeast Asia, and now you've scaled up to global head. Scaling up for SME business. Some take-home points for us.
So I've run businesses before my BNI journey as well. And each time I've built a business and scaled it up, there are 2 things that are very important. One is the team that you have that you're building for your company. Many times, as your company grows, you need to bring in the right players. Like in the initial days when I first came to India and I started my IT company, I was in the basement of Hila Palace recruiting. I had just moved back. I had not set up an office yet. And then I went to the front office business center lady and asked, do you know anybody who can help me with some accounts? I need somebody to come on a Saturday and just put together my account so I can send it to the US my expenses. And she sent me somebody called, his name is Ramesh. Later on I found out that he was her fiancé. Alright. But the reason I'm saying that at that particular stage, he was sufficient to run my account. But as my company grew, as we think, so you need to bring in the right players at the right time. And for me, it's all been a big blessing having fantastic people to work alongside with. Okay, I don't consider them working for me, but we serve each other. It's been fantastic. Yeah.
Awesome, right? I think team building is one of your core strengths, and that is what I think we have to learn about. We have a lot of stories and success stories about team building.
The next question, this was very inspiring, and I would definitely like to know the secrets. You keep shuttling to states and countries. Every single time energetic. Jet lag has no influence on you apparently.
And jet lag is something, no? Even Biju and Guli are saying, how come this man is always fresh?
Half the time you are there, you hardly come down. So how do you manage?
Well, I've tried all kinds of things for jet lag before. I've had melatonin pills, I tried. But one thing that works for me is when I get on the plane, mentally I'm already set on the time zone of the place that I'm going. When it's time to eat breakfast or if they're feeding me on the plane, I may skip a meal. But I also have some food bars or something with me. So I'm already thinking, okay, now it's breakfast time, now it's lunch time, now it's dinner time. Sync myself into this time zone I'm going because I know the moment I land, people are out there. And that's the thing, you have to make sure that you're fresh, you're full of energy. But I get my most energy from a room full of folks like this.
Oh, lovely.
Awesome. I think next question I'll ask Meena. Digital marketing is something which is so popular now, but it's been almost more than decades that you have got into digital marketing. And how come that you got that instinct? Usually, people when they get the new technologies, they fear the most. They will say, let me wait, let it boost. But you got it almost earlier stages and then, voila, you're here.
Wow, that's a very good question. My background when I was working in Chicago was UI UX. So now India moved I wanted to establish a venture of my own. So I started more with web design, which was more towards my area. The next thing is getting popular, right? And then the social media platforms were just coming up. In fact, a joke is my nephew came and told me, you can write on my wall. I was just laughing because I said, that's not what we're supposed to do. I didn't realize that, that was how Facebook grew, and in the very early days, it was more a platform to meet friends and connect with friends. But it's a very, very strong business and platform if you use it well. We've also used it a lot to support people in crisis, in times of need. Yes? You all agree with that?
Yeah.
It can be a platform for healthy change and at the same time a big boost up for business.
Work, family, kids. How do you balance? What is the work-life balance tip that you want to give all of us?
You want to know the secret?
Yes!
I
Can we hear it?
Anybody say yes? Well, the secret is there is no secret. But I want to quote the words of Dr. Ivan Meisner. He's somebody we both look up to, and he said that more than work-life balance, it's important to have work-life harmony. So sometimes we have to prioritize one over the other. It may not be the most priority thing in my life, but if you're in harmony with whatever you do, somehow you are able to pull it off happily.
Mac, in 2002, when this, the chain of clinics was started, we started some dental clinics and it became a failure. People keep only seeing success. What is the worst failure that you've done?
That is Michael Jordan. He says he has missed more number of shots than the ones that he actually did for winning, right? One of the failures that I had in the early days, I remember in school, we were in 10th standard, I was standing for elections. And there's a guy called Vinod who was also standing with me. So what do? I go to my uncle speaks very good English. So he wrote down a speech for me, which I couldn't understand all these big words. I tried to mug it up, right? And I really did miserable. The only people who voted for me in that election was my own classmates, my section. That was a very good turning point. I'm no longer going to memorize any speech. Whatever comes to me will come from my heart, right? And you would see that whenever I'm doing a PPT, I may cover a few slides of the PPT, but then I let the flow happen. Another mentor of mine, Larry Winters, who was saying that your biggest challenge will become your biggest victory. Your biggest challenge will become your biggest victory. If money is a challenge, you give away money, that becomes a bigger victory. Time is a challenge, go and serve somebody else. You'll have more time than you can ever want. So these are things.
Awesome.
That's an amazing message for all of us.
Yes, thank you so much. Craziest thing that you have done, and what is that you wanted to do?
Among many crazy things, Meena and I were in Florida, and Meena had to go for a day trip to Chicago for some work. So I dropped her off in the airport. Then as I was driving back to my house, is only about an hour away from where we lived in Kissimmee, that place. I always wanted to do skydiving. Okay, so I didn't tell her parents. I just drove, signed up. The next session, we went up. Before going there, they asked me, would you like to get into a jumpsuit? And I said, it was very hot. It was like, I was in a t-shirt and jeans. I said no, I went up, and the first thing I noticed while the plane was climbing, the door is open. Has anybody jumped off the plane? The door is open, and then I started getting scared. And then in time to jump, Then is when I realized, oh God, what did I do? But the one that hit me the most is the first like 30 seconds after I jumped off the plane was not the fear of jumping, but the cold. It's extremely cold out there. And so guys, if you're going to go jump, make sure you wear something warm, though it may be very cold and very hot on the ground. Okay, because the first 30 seconds was painfully cold till I got the sense of my balance.
For her, give the ones you love wings to fly and roots to come back. Does it ring a bell?
When I was 21, I moved to Chicago from Coimbatore. அப்போ இவ்வளோ நம்ம கோயம்புத்தூர்லாம் தேங்காய் மரம் எல்லாம் அங்கே போயிட்டு it was totally cold and living in a joint family and going and living in completely different kind of setup. So what keeps us grounded, I think, is our values. The roots is our values,
Awesome.
and our dreams are our wings. We have to embrace both. Your daughters வந்து யூஎஸ்ல படிக்கிறாங்க. But at the same time, what we set as values within the family is what is lasting.
Wow,
And
awesome.
BNI has 7 core values and more. That's what's our guiding principle.
So I'm just going to put that picture for you. Okay, and the picture, please. Let's see what you want to share about that picture. Okay, that's Mac on his very favorite bike. Yeah, in Suzuki. You remember this photo, and that is, I think, Suresh. I think that is one of your first bike.
This bike is special because the time when I acquired that bike, first of all, I grew up in a fairly affluent family. We lost all our money when my dad became an alcoholic. My friend Ram used to have the same bike. And I always, you have always aspired to be just that teenage, you just finished up that 12th standard, you want to have a bike to go to tuition. So I was like, wow, the Suzuki had just come out and no money in our house, right? Dream is big enough, the facts don't count. Miracles will manifest. When you really want something, this bike was a miracle for me because suddenly my friend Ram got allotted. He had bought this bike as, out of market one. Then he had also applied for a bike that got allotted 4 months later. So his dad told me, Mac, I know you wanted this bike, why didn't you keep it? I said, no uncle, I can't. No, you keep it. You can always pay me back later. Sometimes when you want something, you pray, if you have the right intention, it will manifest. Whether the funds are there or not there, I never thought that I'll have this bike. So yeah.
Share something about that pic.
That's my dad. Very inspiring for me because he used to have the quotation of all for one, one for all, right? He was the eldest of about 10 children in the house. He built a business and was able to educate all his younger brothers and his sisters. How he helped people. He would just unconditionally do things like what we are learning now in BNI as givers.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. For everyone, I think father is a superhero.
So that's what when Meena was talking about values, right? Some parents may say, okay, they have to be very strict. The only thing the children learn from us is by observing us. We teach them a lot more by them observing us, like how I observed my dad, and of course he had his flaws, like I said, later part of his years. But I observed from that and also learned from it on what not to do.
I think we already asked the question. See, that was that. Give the ones you love wings to fly and roots to come back.
This is our second daughter, Meena. So she's currently studying her second year college in Brown University.
Okay.
This is a very, very special picture for us. During this COVID time, she graduated her 12th grade. She got admission in many colleges in the US. But she also got admission in a very special college in Singapore, which was a combination of Yale and National University of Singapore. But later there was a change in that partnership. So it was a really tough moment for the children who decided to take that institute. Not anything of their doing. But she really persevered. She said, I'm going to reapply. So she applied again and she got selected into an Ivy League school called Brown.
Awesome.
She learned, I think, from her mom. She was also like topper in college and school and all.
So is that you, ma'am?
சின்ன வயசுலேருந்தே நல்லா பாடிட்டே இருப்பேனா. And then for Gandhi Jayanti, in the kindergarten school வந்து என்ன 4 lines பேச வச்சாங்க. So I was actually less than 3 years in this photo. So எங்க அப்பா அதை எடுத்து வச்சுட்டு ரொம்ப கேர்ஃபுல்லா வச்சிருக்காருன்னு நினைக்கிறேன்.
Thank you so much. I think she said something. I know you are a beautiful singer. So sing some beautiful lines, 2 or 3 lines.
2 lines for us.
Yes. No, guys. She needs encouragement. Yes.
இப்படி கொண்டு போட்டீங்க. Okay, PS1 movie.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
I think you want to hear from there.
PS1 rapid fire,
Super.
Mac. Okay, you have to answer as quick as possible.
BNI make breakfast neat or a family breakfast?
Breakfast with family.
Okay.
Spouse as a business partner? Yes or no?
Maybe. Depends on the
Maybe
business.
yes or maybe no.
Yes, we work in many businesses together.
Lovely. Business. Own idea is preferred or copy idea is okay?
I think own idea.
Own idea. Which TV show would you like to be featured in?
Suits, huh? Yeah, Suits. I like Suits as well. And there's another one also. Which was the other one? Then maybe dance. Well, Suits. I'll go with Suits for now.
Your biggest fear?
Is swimming in the deep waters. I need to get over the fear of underwater, like a deep ocean swim.
Meena's toothbrush color?
Meena's toothbrush color for this week.
Starts now.
Maybe purple.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Awesome.
Alright.
Yeah, travel, we always change the toothbrush.
Okay. Yes, big round of applause for Mac.
That's amazing.
Yes, Meena, for you. The questions, okay? Rapid fire. Children graduation, India or abroad?
Abroad.
Mac as a cook. Good, bad, very bad.
Super good.
Super good. Oh, okay.
Only one dish ready.
Only one dish she make very well.
What makes you more nervous?
Blowing bubbles.
Okay. Best ever surprise from Mac.
He was studying masters. I was in India. He came as a surprise for my cousin's wedding.
Oh, okay.
I need
Okay.
US later.
அது உங்களை சர்ப்ரைஸ் பண்றதுக்கா இல்ல பொண்ணை சர்ப்ரைஸ் பண்றதுக்கா?
Okay, the last question. Passion or money?
Fashion all.
Passion. Always give a round of applause for Meena. Let's see who's going to win. For Mac. For Meena. Give a big round of applause for Mac and Meena. Thank you so much. I request the ladies to come and felicitate Mac and Meena, Murali Sundaram and Viju Chandran.